Hey everybody, it's Austin Ward for Lettermen Row here downtown Columbus with Zach Boren, former Ohio State Letterman, linebacker, fullback, do-it-all extraordinaire. We finally have fresh game footage, Zach. There was a blowout win for Ohio State on Saturday, also one with some learning points. So today we're going to go over the defense, just what were your first impressions of Saturday in that opener?
We do. It's nice that the 2018 football season is here. We get to actually talk some football, so that's nice. But you know what? I came away obviously thoroughly impressed with the offense and what they did and Joyner Haskins. From a defensive standpoint, though, you know, I liked the way they ran around, pressured the quarterback. We saw that very early on with what Nick Bosa and that front four was able to do. I think the big point from this Saturday is a lot of young guys got some serious playing time, and they were able to learn a lot in some game-like situations, and they're going to get better. Obviously, we know the big play was a bad thing that hit Ohio State with, but you know, that's more of an attitude. That's more of everyone flying to the football. That's what those young guys are going to learn they have to do now. They can't rely on one person making a play. All 11 silver bullets have to be flying to the ball.
It is a little different, too, when you take Nick Bosa off the field, Draymond Jones, Jordan Fuller, Tuff Borland, a couple starters, but that's no excuse, right? The expectation level is here for Ohio State players.
Very much so. They are. Those young guys are expected to come in right away and be able to play and be at the top of their game. That's why they come to the Ohio State University. But, you know, what we saw on Saturday, are those guys good or what? You know, the Nick Bosa, the Draymond Jones, even Tuff Borland, you know, 10 snaps, but he still had some good plays. You know, we even saw without Jordan Fuller in the back, you know, being held out from a hamstring issue, what or how important he is to this defense. But it's going to be an exciting year. They have, you know, everyone's talking about how this Rutgers team coming in is better than years previous. So we'll see what happens. I'm sure that defense is going to be pretty well coached up this week going into this Saturday.
Yep, I told you Nick Bosa was going to win the Heisman, so we'll see how that goes.
I'm holding you to that.
Well, week one was good for me. Not everything was perfect for the rest of those Buckeyes, so we're going to roll the tape and check that out now.
After that hit by Chase Young. Blount, off play action, wide open in the middle of the field is Bradford inside the 20-yard line. He's heading for the end zone. Touchdown, Oregon State.
Okay, Zach, right here, very early in the season, the first quarter, the first opener, a lot of new faces on the field. This isn't really what you want to expect from your first 5 minutes of college football.
No, you obviously see that they had a lot of, you know, linebackers in here, Baron Brown and Pete Warner, the safeties with Wint and Pryor in here, and this is a typical Greg Schiano defense right here. You've got Warner over here acting like it's a cover 8, which is what Ohio State shows all the time, and you bring the blitz off the edge. Obviously, you saw Ohio State wanted to get pressure on Oregon State very early and very often, which they did, but there was a couple times here where they get burnt where they don't need to. And this is a typical Isaiah Pryor down here, as you'll see, having his eye in the backfield. He knows Pete Warner's blitzing, so he needs to come and fill in on the slot here and get in this coverage. And you can see here, he doesn't have awareness of where this wide receiver is, gets his eyes back in the backfield, and this wide receiver is able to get around him. And then you'll see the back end here, I believe it's Wint, just is over here over pursuing. If he stays in the middle of the field where he's supposed to be, he's able to come down here and make this play. But it's essentially a miscommunication and misplay by Pryor and Wint early on in the game.
How much credit then do you give to Oregon State for the execution? How much is it blame necessarily? I hate to phrase it like that, but just a breakdown for what Ohio State does here.
I think it's definitely a breakdown. I think it's something early in the game. Oregon State obviously called the right play at the right time. I don't think they knew so much that the blitz was coming. Ohio State did a great job at not showing it and bringing it on the snap. It was just an execution by Oregon State, and Ohio State getting caught with their eyes in the backfield.
The third quarterback Oregon State has used today. He hands it off on first down, and breaking the tackle is Pierce. And he's on the go. Will they catch him? 2 plays.
And this one here in the third quarter, first snap of the third quarter for Oregon State, and another big hit.
Yeah, this is just a pursuit. We talked about this earlier. It's just the defense being able to take the right angles in pursuit of the ball. Obviously, there's some missed tackles. You see that early on the season, especially going against, you know, really live action and against another team. But here, look at this. You have you've got multiple linebackers and corners out here that are all surrounding the ball, and you've got a guy in the ball right now making the tackle, and no one makes a play. It's just not flying to the football. These guys need to learn to pursue. Don't think that this guy's going to make the tackle one-on-one. You have to pursue to the football. Everyone get on the ball. All 11 helmets. They preach it all the time. You just have some bad angles. There's no reason for Akudo to be able to come down here and into kind of the trash. He needs to stay outside. Baron Brown takes a better angle here as well. And Malik Harrison needs to kind of finish on the play here.
When you have these situations, Zach, you guys preach and spend a whole month working on tackling. And then if you're Antoine Jackson and you miss one, how do you process that as a player when you've been working all month and you know that this is going to be a highlight on Monday morning?
Yeah, I mean, you have, but you also see right here, if it's frozen right here, he's got bad hat placement. His hat needs to be across the ball carrier and get his head in front to be able to block him off. But, like I said, it's early on the season. It's the first time really seeing. If you rewind it just a little bit, though, and you stop it right here, Wint needs to keep on pushing out here. Browning is filling backside, and Akudo needs to come out here, and then essentially you've got a shell with everyone flying to the football. Right here it shows that, hey, we're not in the right angles, we're not in the right pass, we're all kind of going at our own thing and on our own page, and essentially you're just trying to say that Jackson's going to make the play one-on-one, and he obviously doesn't.
A chance to go do that with your teammates is really unique.
Pierce again, boy, he's got some skill. Past midfield, he's going to house it again.
Here's a 78-yard one. Not too much longer in the third quarter. And what's the first thing that you see here, Zach?
It's another angles, right? It's your gap. We're not gap sound. You saw in the last play, guys kind of were overflowing the ball, not being in the right gaps. It's just like right here. Chase Young has the outside, right? So if you're Baron Browning, you have to be able to be strong with this offense tackle. He's double teaming the defense tackle. Go in there and stuff him. Push him back into the running back and only give the running back a one-way go to the outside here with your hat out on the outside. Instead, he jumps outside and essentially creates a gap right up here, and now you'll see Ohio State's got two guys on the outside and a guy flying here up the middle. Obviously, Pete Warner needs to be better at getting off the block. He needs to be able to hit, shed, and throw, which they learn very often, but he's a young player. And you even have the safety up here. Needs to be able to fly to the football instead of getting kind of slowed down by number 18 right here.
So when you see this stuff, Zach, just to sum it up for me, you have three big plays. Obviously, this game was decided from the outset. Ohio State was going to win easily.
Yep.
These correctable issues, you think?
Definitely correctable. As you can see, these are all young guys. You see Browning, you see Warner, you see Wint, you saw Isaiah Pryor. You see guys who are just now becoming starters out this year, and they are just taking the wrong angles and they're in the wrong gaps. That's their only thing. It's something that's very correctable. It's the first time really in live action. The game was probably a little bit quicker than they expected for them, because in practice it's, hey, there's a redo. Yep. The game's kind of slow. But when you get in a game, it doesn't matter who you're playing. You're playing in front of 110,000. The game's maybe going a little quick. You just have to be able to stay sound and be able to know what you're responsible for.
Another chance for them to take those lessons and improve on Saturday against Rutgers. Another game at the Horseshoe. Zach Boren will be breaking that down as always for us at Lettermen Row. Looking for some improvement for some of those young guys. Always a big jump from week 1 to week 2 for these guys. I'm sure that's what Ohio State and Greg Schiano will be expecting. He's Zach Boren. I'm Austin Ward for Lettermen Row with another BuckIQ.